Here's a captivating bedtime story filled with intrigue, warmth, and just the right amount of magic. The Clockmaker's Secret. In the quiet village of Eldershire, nestled between rolling hills and ancient forests, lived a clockmaker named Mr. Alden. His workshop sat at the corner of the cobblestone square, its windows glowing warmly with the light of countless ticking and chiming clocks. Each clock was a masterpiece, from tiny pocket watches to grand, towering grandfather clocks. But there was one clock in his shop that no one ever saw, a special creation hidden behind a velvet curtain in the back room. No one dared ask Mr. Alden about the clock. Whispers floated through the village suggesting it was magical, cursed, or even alive. Truth be told, Mr. Alden wasn't sure himself. Late one evening, as a soft snow began to fall, a curious boy named Liam wandered into the shop. He was always fascinated by Mr. Alden's creations, but tonight he felt an unusual pull toward the curtain at the back. "What's behind there, Mr. Alden?" Liam asked, pointing to the velvet drape. Mr. Alden paused, his hands trembling as he set down a brass gear. "That's not for curious eyes, young man," he replied softly. But the boy's curiosity was relentless. "Please, I won't touch anything, I just want to see." After a long silence, Mr. Alden sighed. "Very well, but you must promise to listen carefully and do exactly as I say." Liam nodded, excitement sparkling in his eyes. The clockmaker drew the curtain aside, revealing a grand, ornate clock. Its face shimmered like the surface of a still lake, and its hands moved in ways that defied logic, sometimes forward, sometimes backward, and sometimes not at all. "This," Mr. Alden began, "is the Everclock. It doesn't measure time, it shapes it." Liam's eyes widened. "Shapes time? How?" "It was made long ago by a guild of clockmakers who believed time could be rewritten. They succeeded, but at a cost. The Everclock grants one wish to whoever winds it, but it takes something in return." Liam's heart raced. "Has anyone ever used it?" Mr. Alden nodded, gravely. "Once. I was young and foolish. I wished to save someone I loved, and the clock granted my wish. But it took away my memories of her. I don't even know who she was anymore." The boy stared at the clock, his mind swirling with possibilities. "Can I try?" Mr. Alden hesitated. "If you do, you must understand the consequences. Wishes are powerful, but so is the price." After a moment, Liam stepped forward. He placed his hands on the clock's golden key and turned it slowly. The gears inside began to hum, and a soft glow filled the room. "What do you wish for?" the clock whispered, its voice like a gentle breeze. Liam hesitated. Then he whispered, "I wish to meet my father." The glow brightened, and the room seemed to dissolve around him. When the light faded, Liam found himself in a sunlit meadow. A man stood before him, tall and kind-eyed, holding out his hand. "Liam?" the man asked. "Dad?" Liam's voice quivered. For what felt like hours, they talked, laughed, and shared stories. But as the sun began to set, the meadow started to fade. Back in the shop, Liam blinked, disoriented. The Everclock's hands were still, and Mr. Alden looked at him with a mix of sadness and understanding. "What did it take?" Liam asked softly. The clockmaker pointed to the shelf where Liam's favorite wooden toy had sat. It was gone. "A small price," Mr. Alden said. But as Liam walked home, he felt a strange warmth in his chest. The memory of his father was worth more than any toy. The village of Eldershire never knew the full story of the Everclock, but Liam visited Mr. Alden's shop often, helping him with gears and springs, and sharing tales of his brief but precious meeting with the father he never knew. And so, the magic of the Everclock remained. A secret, a mystery, and a reminder that time, once shaped, can hold the most priceless treasures. I hope this story was enchanting and relaxing.